Greetings, Patriots, and welcome to another episode of The Spirit of 1776, brought to you by the 1776 community. I am your host, Brock Fankhauser, and today our special guest is Nelson Wills, who is an entrepreneur. He is the mayor of Cramerton, North Carolina, and he's a patriot. And today we're going to be talking about one of the core values of the 1776 community, and that is unity. Part of unity to us is going all the way back to the nation's motto of E Pluribus Unum. How you come from many and you reduce that down into one, and it's very important to us with our movement. And I can think of nobody better than to bring in on this discussion than Mayor. Welcome to our program.
Brock, thank you, man. Thanks for having me, and look forward to being a part of it and just sharing and exploring a pretty important topic.
Yeah.
Not only in the town of Cramerton, but unity is imperative for us as a country, but as a community, which look forward to, like I said, diving further into.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you've come from, how you got to where you are.
Yes, sir. So I am 49 years old. We've been in the town of Cramerton going on 19 years. Born in Athens, Georgia, grew up in Summerville, South Carolina, and had really one option for college, which was in state, and just being technical minded and looking at engineering choices. It was only one choice, being Clemson, and proud Clemson Tiger. My wife and I both are alumni and from Clemson, which I studied construction science and management. So basically, we're the guys that build the big stuff. We're not necessarily home builders, although few of us, but we're the contractors that are building the hospitals. And really what the key thing that I took from that education is just coordination. And a lot of that can be found with unity when you're dealing with subcontractors, projects that take multiple years over time. It's coordination and communication. So a lot of those skills came from that education. Also had some experiences at Clemson as a leader of our fraternity, which was a high performing group of young men that was commander. And that was actually maybe in a lot of ways a tougher job, dealing with 19 to 22 year olds and just performing at a high level academically, athletically, on a national basis, so supplying leadership to the university from a student body standpoint, just all the stuff. From that point, I moved to Charlotte, which actually took the most challenging, lowest compensated opportunity. Just 22 years old, if you're going to challenge yourself, that's when to do it. So I got into technical sales for a Japanese company, quality control vision systems, just some like I said, highly technical devices, and worked my way through that industry to a system integrator, largest system integrator on the planet, full factory automation. And from there, just had some situations happen and started a business at 28 years old, grew it over the course of 19 years, exited from that during the pandemic, but grew it manufacturing. Still building, but building things for interior spaces. So aluminum and glass, primarily assemblies that built relationships with national customers, high level of quality control, but an operation manufacturing in Charlotte of 70 people, which is something that I'm have been and still am very proud of. It's all about putting people to work and putting food on the table. So being entrepreneurial and building things and the made in the USA, as I've got behind me, is one of my mantras. There is no substitute and sacrifice. Everything that I've ever built and manufactured is always made here using domestic materials. Today, I'm the general manager for a company called Short Run Pro. We're a metal manufacturer, and we make parts for various industries, all in North Carolina, ship internationally, primarily North America, however. But it is, I've been in the metal world for structural type uses for building spaces. So supports for vanities, spill containment, just a number of different applications, core being metal. And, going backwards a little bit, I've worked for my grandfather when I was 14 on the farm, started a lawn care business at 16 and have just, worked from that point forward. So work ethic is ingrained in our family. One of our family mottos is no one outworks the Wills. And, that carries through to where I am in a service standpoint, being the mayor of the town of Cramerton. That all came about in 2021. I'm doing my thing, working, father, husband, volunteering for a church and doing a lot of things just around town. But I was asked to run for mayor. Just folks not only wanted change, but just know where my values are and my skill set of leading and listening and understanding, also having a vision. So that came about, which I didn't, frankly, Brock, I didn't see coming. It was not something that I was looking for, planning for. I received some calls from some prominent folks in our community that were strategic, asking me to do this. So I called my wife, Nicole, and said, "Sweetheart, you'll never guess the calls that I just got today." And her first comment, this was probably a good sign that this was way God was pointing us, was you'd make a great mayor. Followed by it's an honor to be asked. Let's pray on it, and we did, and here we are. We had to work hard and go from a more or less unknown, so to speak, to now being in this spot, which we're enjoying. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of communication, but so to back it all the way up, I've always been an entrepreneurial type person. I like to build things, like to use my hands, like to put people to work and just contribute to our economy, to our society, to our community by giving back and building jobs, job creation, and then putting the town hat on, improving the quality of life for our citizens. But also, tide rises all boats. Cramerton prospers, continues to improve. That's going to filter down to our neighbors in Belmont, McAdenville, Gastonia. And we all have to work together. We're literally in the same boat, which is part of leadership, right? You share a vision, common goals, and you work together to get there.
Yeah, I can prove to the audience that the Will's motto of working hard has now been passed on to the next generation. Your son, who will be attending Clemson later this fall and on scholarship with the golf team. And he just won the state championship, did he not?
Yeah, he just did kind of latest trophy for an expanding trophy case. He's 18. And, it doesn't just happen to play golf at a school like Clemson, or actually, let me back that up, to have a choice to play at a school like Clemson. He had options, as you could imagine. But yeah, I estimate he's probably got between 7,000 and 8,000 hours working on his craft. And, he's, I'm proud of a number of things, but I've never told him to practice. This is all, it's just kind of a self-given, motivated, drive. But yeah, the work ethic, it's just what we do.
It's not a team sport in golf, right? So you can't rely on it. Therefore, it's proof that he has that gene. He's going to a Division I school who have stood out over the years as a powerhouse in more than just football. Golf has been one of them. So that's a pretty awesome accomplishment.
Yeah.
I want to dive
you.
into a little bit, right, what it's like to lead a town, right? And you're an outsider. You have plenty of experience in entrepreneurialism and leadership, and particularly in light of today, where there's just polarization everywhere we look. If you want it, you can find it. And based on what I know about you and working in your town, you've done a very good job of putting leadership over everything else. And I think along with that, the community becomes unified along that E Pluribus Unum motto, right? Versus all of the things that differentiate us. So how does it naturally, because I think it does, naturally come to you to unify and to bring people together?
I've always considered myself to be a good listener, and it's all about the greater good. Uh, Being the leader of the town as the mayor and the voice of the town, in a lot of ways, what is best for the citizens. And when the citizens and the community, sees that, I think that's where, I mean, that's the core fundamental of leadership, just listening and looking at the greater good, empowering others, having empathy, understanding what someone's opinions or needs are, being able to cast a vision that's relatable is a big part of it. With but also, say relatable, you've also got to communicate and make sure that there's some buy-in from the constituents, from the other commissioners that are on the board, from staff. So a lot of it, Brock, is just um, the ability to communicate, but also listen to drive the best possible outcome.
Yeah, with listening, I don't think Clemson has a degree in listening, do they?
No, I don't know if anybody does, but yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody does either. I've looked it up. That's pretty astonishing if because I'm in agreement with you that listening is probably right there at the top of skills that you need if you want to excel at anything. And yet it's not taught, right? In fact, maybe the opposite is taught nowadays. And I think we need to find a way to find the first institution of higher education out there who embraces the value of listening and then puts a degree to it. Maybe you can lead that charge at Clemson.
I'll tell. I don't know who said it, but it's true, and I use this one a lot because by design, and just procedurally, I'm the last to speak. But by design, that's the case in all aspects of what I do in town and beyond. But I don't know who said it, but the quote is, "You, I've never learned anything by talking." So listen first. You get the points of view, and you mold that for the best possible outcome for the citizens or for business or for an employee, for their family. It's universal.
You had a vision for the town of Cramerton. You're now approaching 3 years into that vision. What were some of those visions and how are they coming to life today?
Well, there's a lot of work in the background when with tooling up, putting pieces in place. Uh, Vision continues and always will be to have a safe community. There were some aspects of safety that I wasn't aware about before getting in office that we buttoned up. Not a lot of things we publicize, so to speak, but just making sure we've got the safest town in the county, really in the region, which I can confidently say I think we do. The level of patriotism, which I know you and I have discussed, previously. One of the things, and I've shared this with others since you mentioned it to me, but one of the things that attracted you to Cramerton and to our area is the patriotic feel. You know that you're somewhere special just with our resident citizens displaying the American flag. I mean, that's a big deal that we are doing more. We've got a project identified to put American flags on our poles as you enter and exit town, and just that's a big thing. We've got Memorial Day coming up. We're just really promoting the patriotism that's natural to Cramerton. Beautification is a big key. We're blessed to have a epicenter, a downtown that's compact, but making that, and we're going to finish that this year but we've made a number of steps, number of big investments over the last 2 years, but excited to see the culmination of what is our, like I said, our epicenter, and making it uniquely spectacular. I mean, literally spectacular, with just attention to detail, pride, and just giving our citizens a downtown that they're proud of. And
Yeah.
community pride is all part of that. So, beyond that, it's also some regional thinking. Some, we are. It was amazing to me that the previous folks in my position previously, I mean, there were some relationships, but not as much as I would consider a true partnership with our neighboring towns and our local, well, I say local, but our delegation in Raleigh. But building those relationships is part of the overall vision that is and has come to fruition. Of course, it can always be improved, and that's just the nature of relationships. But again, we're in the same boat, and it's working on behalf of our citizens first, but then collectively in a region to accomplish, the things, the little things, the details add up to some pretty big moves.
Yeah.
And working on a number of fronts at the same time for, things like just moving people. 90% of our workforce works in Mecklenburg County. So just travel, that's a big one, but all the way down to garbage collection, going through a new contract, or moving to a new vendor, making sure that goes smooth. And, just focusing on the day to day, but also vision for the big picture, and getting everybody on board with that vision, but also listening to others and making sure we've got the right end goal, right goal line identified that the citizens will be proud of.
Yeah, I remember talking to you. You asked me what draws you to Cramerton to build residential housing developments, and I remember saying we long ago stopped doing any type of demographic research. I find it completely irrelevant to research median home values, median incomes, those types of drivers. Instead, I just get in the car and I drive, and I try to pick up on that. Some people call it intangible. I call it tangible. That community pride thing that you really can only find by driving around. It's my form of an MBA, right? Management by being around. And that's what you notice in Cramerton. It's just no matter the housing development, there tends to be an attachment to the oldest brand in our country, and that's the USA. And I
That's
think
right.
if people have an attachment to the history, you have a strong chance of having an attachment to the future. And we're calling it back to the future, and kind of how we run our business. There's a nostalgia that happens, but that also becomes the stepping stones to the future. And I think that you notice that as well. It's a back to the future movement, right?
That's right. And I know you've seen it, but I'll remind you, our Town of Cramerton slogan or motto is pride in our past, faith in our future. And I think that may embody exactly what we're talking about here, and something I'm proud of that we literally just did last week is approve a land development code update, which the big part of it, it's a multifaceted update. The big part is we protected our mill village from being just redeveloped. It just How many towns, cities around the country have lost character, through growth and through development. But in our mill village, which is pretty big space on multiple sides from the river, the town was built. We're ensuring that we maintain that character for a century from now, and that's going to be unique, and that's something that I believed in, that we've got to do, and we just did it with this board of commissioners, which has been a year-long process. But yeah, the back to the future. I like Stuart W. Kramer said, Cramerton, or built Cramerton, is a model mill village. Well, one of my phrases is the model mill village of the future. So maintain your character and enhance and improve. And we just laid fiber in our mill village, which is a big deal, So all good stuff. But yeah, to your point, it's pride in our past, but looking forward as we sit here today in 2024.
Yeah. Let's go 1 year into the future. It's 2025. Name something that is important to you that hasn't happened yet during your tenure that you'd like to have happen that makes the town of Cramerton better.
I have a project list that is about 125 strong. So looking at 2025, we will have the downtown project finished. We're adding a cool amenity to Cramerton and really to the region, which is a dog park. We don't have a dog park in this area. That will be done. I guess the big one is connectivity, and you can use that, this chat we're having now, connectivity can be used in a number of ways, but connectivity of our for the Courtyards community, the Timberlake community, which are on the eastern side of Cramerton on the border with Belmont. We have a river that separates those communities in downtown Cramerton. So we're working with our state delegation and other entities to build a bridge over the river. We have 2 other sites identified for other bridges that we're working on, and we're talking about pedestrian bridges, not vehicular. Connectivity is a key priority, as well as proud of the success we've had with getting state funding for. We just kicked off a brand new fire truck, but you don't receive if you don't ask, and I want to do much more of that over the next 18 months, so that by the end of 2025, we received just over $3 million in the last fiscal. Our budget's $8 million. These are big time moves that take the town from a capital standpoint. We've got state funding for it, so I'd love to see other opportunities materialize where we're asking for help and getting it, because we've got a need that doesn't come on the shoulders of our taxpayers.
Yeah, good points.
So connectivity, I guess, would is a key one that we're working on currently, but we've been working on it for about a year. It's a project.
Yeah. Well, my company has enjoyed working in the town of Cramerton at all levels. We consider it to be a treat. You've been very generous, sir, with your time today with us. I'll remind the audience that you lead a community, not only a business community and a company, but a town of tax-paying citizens. And what are the last 5 letters of community?
Unity.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I had never put that together, but you're exactly right.
Yeah,
that's great. You can count on me using that soon.
Please do. I enjoyed hanging out with you today. Congratulations to your son for the state championship. I am not surprised in the least, and I'm quite certain future successes are ahead for him. So make sure you tell him we said hello. And again, we appreciate your time today. We're very grateful for the opportunity to chat with you.
Brock, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you having me on and just talking. And thank you for all you do.
All right, buddy. See you soon.